the movie everyone wants us to talk about. Beau is Afraid.
Everyone wants to talk about Tony forgetting the merch. I love that movie.
Jess, you didn't see this one, so I'm kicking you too. I'll bring you back. Okay. Beau is Afraid. Now, this is a movie that was on my radar. Probably one of my most anticipated films of the year. I love Ari Aster. Hereditary, I missed seeing in theaters. When I finally did see it, I was blown away by it. To the point, like, when Midsommar came out, I think Spider-Man Far From Home came out at the same time. And I was like, fuck Spider-Man, I'll see that next week. I need to see Midsommar. Which was one of the best theater experiences I've ever had. And I saw this movie last night. And again, it's one of the best theater experiences with an audience I've ever had. This movie's insane. Joey, what did you think?
I have no words. I don't know if I think it's a good movie or a bad movie. It was...
That seems to be everyone's take, really.
The level of insanity in this movie is unlike anything I've ever seen. Like, when I saw Hereditary, my jaw was on the floor leaving the theater. So I had high hopes for this film. And my jaw was on the floor again. It was like, there were parts where I was laughing, and I thought, am I supposed to be laughing at this part? There were legitimately scary sections, legitimate heartfelt sections. It bonkers, dude. Absolute bonkers.
Now, Adam, as a primarily art house review channel, how did you view Beau is Afraid?
Glad you asked, Tony. I actually just posted my review on the channel, Adam Does Movies, just mere hours ago. Hours ago. So, yeah, why don't we just go there now and play it for 10 minutes and everybody subscribe.
Let's do that.
And I'll just save everyone some time.
No, why? So you can copyright strike me later on?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. No.
So what did you think? Because I actually texted you as I was leaving the theater. Because you just put out a review for Wild at Heart, which is I love that movie. And I texted Adam, and I'm like, I feel like you'd hate this. But how did you feel about it?
Tony, I'm if there's anything you take away from me as a movie critic, I'm very inconsistent. That's what people love about me and my channel. It's like, wow, I have no idea how Adam thinks about anything. It's the perfect, reliable movie critic out there. No, I thought I'm like split on it, just like Joey. I think that there's some stuff that's absolutely brilliant, beautiful cinematography, fantastic acting from Joaquin Phoenix. But then on the other end of it, it's almost 3 hours long. Aster seems to be trolling the viewer. I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything, but clearly there's some winks at the audience at the end of this film. Like, yeah, if you want to leave early, I'm guessing people will. And we did get reports that people were in fact leaving early during this movie. So as a critic, it's, I think, just more the job to say, listen, if you like artsy shit, you're going to get a lot of it here. If you want to take your family to it, maybe go to Mario instead. Because this is
do not bring your family to this.
A lot of people.
A lot of naked
people. I do think at the end of the day, I fall more on the positive side of it because we don't get a lot of original stuff anymore. And this thing is original through and through.
Yeah, I will say, so the movie kind of starts off literally with the birth of Beau. And I was very confused why the first thing that was in focus was a baby's giant testicles. Turns out that's very important to the plot.
Yes.
Which I could not predict, much like a lot of things in this film I could not predict. And then we see Beau in a pretty much normal setting, just normal LA, modern day LA. I heard people saying oh, he lives in a nightmare world. And I was like, no, I've been to Los Angeles. It looks exactly like that. When does the crazy stuff start? I'm like, yeah, the tents, the people screaming, guy with a knife yelling. I've seen all of that. Where's all the crazy stuff? Basically, his mother dies, and he has to journey to go to her funeral, but a lot of things get in the way of that. The director apparently called it Jewish Lord of the Rings. Now, surprisingly, I picked up on some of the Lord of the Rings thing because it's supposed to be this adventure. And he's constantly getting into these little mini adventures along the way, but, his main goal is always the same. And I'm like, okay, I get that, because Lord of the Rings, now we're with the ring wraiths, now we're with the orcs and shit, so I kind of get that. The Jewish thing I didn't pick up on too much, unless we're factoring the stereotype of the overbearing mother and whiny main character.
God, he was whiny. That was a tough
he was
thing
very whiny.
That's what made it kind of difficult. Is he's not like a very likable, relatable character. He's kind of frustrating. He's constantly blacking out. He's on prescription medication, so it really makes you think. Okay, it's hard to get invested in a character when you don't actually know if what you're watching is happening to the character or if they've been dead the whole time. Like we really don't know when this is all said and done. At what point are we watching a fantasy film, and at what point are we actually watching events play out for this guy?
Yes. But I was captivated the entire time. So lately when I go to the theater, I end up having to pee twice for some reason. I didn't get up out of the seat once for this movie. I was glued to the screen. I sat through the entire end credits just to see if there was more.
Was there?
No.
Because apparently there's an hour more of film that...
Yeah, there's another cut.
Yeah, it's I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? You said people walked out early. I think that's a good thing, because in the middle of the movie, Beau is fast-forwarding security footage, and he just sees the end of the movie. That was really funny. I was like, oh... Literally, he fast forward. It's like you ever try to find your place on a Netflix, like you lost your place on Netflix and then you skipped ahead too far and you skip to see a spoiler. They literally do that in the movie. He just fast forwards and spoils the movie for himself.
Or you do the thing where you're sharing an account with some other family member and they're 5 seasons ahead of you and you don't realize you're watching the last episode of season 5. You're like, what? Who are these people?
yeah. You're like, wait a minute. You're like, oh, I'm on season 3, episode 5.
He aged a lot during this last episode.
But yeah, Joaquin Phoenix is really great at it. Apparently, the young kid is not Joaquin Phoenix. It's just a kid who looks shockingly like him.
Oh, I thought they did a deep fake or something.
That's what I thought they did.
That is what I thought, but I'm seeing all these posts where they're like, no, that's a legit kid. I'm like, oh, now I feel bad for that kid.
They did something, though. They put on weird
makeup. They probably put makeup effects on him.
He looks bizarre.
Yeah, he does look odd.
But yeah, it is funny because now I'm thinking of other adventures like this. You got the classic Homer's Odyssey and how Oh Brother Where Art Thou was similar to that. Where it's oh, we got this goal in mind, but we're running into these wacky characters. And this movie kind of does that, just in an insane way.
I a buddy that they should have maybe almost, because the 3 hours is such an awkward runtime for a movie that's artsy like this, I almost would have preferred if they did 45-minute limited run on HBO Max, where it's 7 or 8 episodes, and you can really flesh this concept out. Yeah, because it does feel it does feel a little half-baked when it's all said and done.
I mean, there's a lot of fluff in it, so you could have made it a 2-hour movie and cut out the rest. Or
gone that route for sure. Yeah.
I don't know. You're talking to a guy who was like, I'd see a 10-hour version of this movie just because I was.
Dude, you texted me and said 10 out of 10, and I was shocked.
Yeah, I don't get the people leaving. I was just like, I just needed to see what the next thing was. I couldn't stop watching it. I'm like, I need to know what happens. Why is that young girl screaming at him constantly? She is so goddamn annoying. And then there's one shot where she's just in a bra. I'm like, all right, she's kind of cute. But then after that, I'm like, oh, goddamn it, she's so annoying again. Yeah, by the way, it was nice seeing Nathan Lane. I don't remember the last time I saw Nathan Lane in the big movie.
Him and who was the guy towards the end? He's in Just Shoot Me or something, some random sitcom from back in the day. He was
Richard Kind. Richard Kind.
Yeah. Wasn't he in Just Shoot Me, or what was his show that he was in?
He's in so many things. He's in a lot of things.
Thinking of him from a specific. Oh no, it was Curb Your Enthusiasm. Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, he's Larry David's cousin on Curb Your Enthusiasm. Yeah, he's really good at it, and it's just a fun mystery, and things kind of start to make sense toward the end. Until he goes into one room. Now I don't want to spoil what was in the room. Don't say what was in the room.
Yeah, do not.
I just want to know, did you expect it to be that?
No. I didn't fucking expect anything from this movie.
Okay.
Every new scene, I was like, what the fuck?
Because he goes into the attic at the end, and we see one thing, and I'm like, okay, I expected that. now let's see the other thing. And when they showed it, like everyone in the theater like gasped. It was like, what? And then there was like uncomfortable laughing.
Yeah. That's the whole movie is like that. It's like scary / funny / disturbing. I mean, it's all those things in one.
Yeah. But I love the whole play section where there's like a play about this man's life.
That was awesome.
Yeah, and I'm like, that whole thing, like, the movie, the trailers really played up the whole, like, trippy, fantastical part of the movie. And that's, like, really limited, other than the overall craziness. That whole, like, visually crazy stuff is only limited to, like, one section, really. But, yeah, I can't really spoil this too much, but I loved it. I'm not one of the people on the fence. I'm just like, this is the best movie I've seen all year. It probably will be the best movie I saw all year.
Tony, are you like me now and you have a new fetish for Parker Posey out of nowhere? Because
I've always liked Parker Posey.
I was equal parts turned on and disturbed with that whole scene.
I've always liked Parker Posey. We were talking about it in the Blade Trinity review. But my friend Royce, who's on the channel, he really likes Parker Posey.
Okay.
But yeah, so people said there's a lot of Jewish imagery in here, and I asked Johanna if she saw any Jewish imagery in here, and she started ranting about like bankers and stuff. I don't know what she was talking about, so I just deleted her number. And before she has a chance to respond, I'm going to remove her. So I don't think anyone in the chat has seen Beau is Afraid. So we're going to move on.
Glad we spent so much time on it.